Have you ever stared at a chessboard, watching two grandmasters locked in a stalemate, their pieces frozen in place, unable to advance, unable to retreat, while the clock ticks relentlessly towards an uncertain future? That's precisely the agonizing tableau unfolding in the NBA's offseason, particularly for two California Titans, the Golden State Warriors and the Sacramento Kings. What began as a promising blockbuster trade discussion has devolved into a frustrating, almost maddening standoff, holding not just one player's destiny hostage, but potentially altering the entire trajectory of a championship contender. How much longer can the basketball world, and more importantly these two franchises, endure this excruciating, self-imposed paralysis, all because of a single, seemingly insurmountable obstacle? For weeks now, the rumor mill has churned with whispers, then shouts, about a potential deal that would send the Golden State Warriors' intriguing young forward, Jonathan Kuminga, down I-80 to the state capital, donning the purple and black of the Sacramento Kings. On paper, it's a tantalizing prospect, a dynamic, athletic wing with immense upside, joining a Kings squad hungry to solidify its contender status. For the Warriors, it's an opportunity to retool, to pivot, to potentially bring in veteran pieces better suited for their immediate championship window. But the path to this seemingly mutually beneficial arrangement has been anything but smooth. In fact, it's been a rocky, frustrating road, fraught with negotiation pitfalls, and now, thanks to insider reports, we understand precisely why this high-stakes poker game has ground to a halt. According to Kings Lead, a prominent voice around the Sacramento franchise, the major gap preventing the Kuminga trade from materializing is the protection of a first-round draft pick. This isn't just a minor sticking point, it's a chasm. The Kings, understandably, want to safeguard their future assets to mitigate the risk of giving up a potentially high pick in a future draft. They envision a scenario where the pick is heavily protected, perhaps even turning into multiple second-rounders if certain conditions aren't met. But the Warriors, ever the shrewd negotiators under Bob Myers' successor, are holding firm. If the Kings genuinely covet Kuminga, if they want this deal to cross the finish line sooner rather than later, the pick, in Golden State's eyes, most likely has to be unprotected or with minimal reductions. This isn't just about a single pick, it's about the perceived value of Jonathan Kuminga, the leverage the Warriors believe they hold, and their unwavering commitment to extracting maximum value for a player they've invested heavily in. Optimism for this deal, once a flickering flame, is now dimming with each passing day. The longer this saga drags into the depths of the offseason, the less likely it seems that a resolution will be found. The Warriors, it appears, are ready to move on from Kuminga despite his undeniable talent. He's a promising player, bursting with raw athleticism and flashes of brilliance that hint at superstardom. Yet over the past few years, he has struggled to carve out a consistently reliable spot for himself in the Warriors' star-studded, veteran-laden lineup. This isn't entirely a knock on Kuminga. The Warriors' roster has been a complex puzzle, and finding consistent minutes for a developing young player amidst championship aspirations has proven challenging. Adding another layer to this intricate narrative is Kuminga's own perspective. He recently made it clear that he desires to play for a team that will utilize him often, expressing a palpable frustration with his current role. He's tired, he stated, of being a second-unit star, and firmly believes he can do better and deserves more. This isn't just a young player's ambition, it's a legitimate desire for growth and opportunity. When a player's aspirations clash with a team's strategic vision, stalemates like this are often the result. However, the Warriors, true to their championship pedigree, won't simply give Kuminga away. They are steadfast in their resolve. They will not part ways with him unless they receive a deal they are wild about, a package that truly excites them and addresses their immediate needs. This isn't just about getting fair value. It's about ensuring any move directly contributes to their pursuit of another Larry O'Brien trophy. The Kuminga situation isn't just a standalone trade negotiation. It's the anchor weighing down the entire Golden State Warriors offseason. With this critical piece of their roster puzzle unresolved, the franchise has been unable to make any significant moves this summer. Imagine a master chef poised to create a culinary masterpiece, but unable to start because a crucial ingredient is locked away. Its fate dependent on a separate, stalled negotiation. That's the Warriors right now. Their pursuit of other key targets, such as veteran big man Al Horford, has been directly impacted, held hostage by the Kuminga restricted free agency quagmire. Al Horford, a seasoned professional and a pillar of consistency, entered this free agency period with a cloud of uncertainty hanging over his future. Would he return to the Boston Celtics, the team he helped lead to multiple deep playoff runs? Would he seek a new challenge with another contender, or perhaps even consider retirement after a stellar career? For now, all indications from various insider reports point towards Horford likely signing with the Warriors for the 2025-26 season, drawn by the tantalizing opportunity to compete for a championship alongside the likes of Stephen Curry. However, as the NBA calendar inexorably flips into August, Horford remains unsigned. The reason, as revealed by esteemed NBA insider Mark Stein, is directly linked to Jonathan Kuminga's restricted free agency. Horford and other potential Warriors targets have been caught in this holding pattern because there's been little movement on the Kuminga front, primarily due to the league-wide lack of cap space among teams to offer Kuminga a substantial market value contract. This isn't an isolated incident. Kuminga isn't the only restricted free agent mired in this summer's uncertainty. Players like Josh Giddey with the Bulls and Cam Thomas with the Nets are also struggling to come to terms on new contracts, highlighting a broader trend in the current NBA financial landscape. So, while it might seem surprising to see a player of Horford's caliber still available, his situation is inextricably tied to the ripple effects of these restricted free agency stalemates. Despite the delay, the whispers and hints of Horford landing in Golden State have been persistent, even emanating from the Warriors' own superstar, Stephen Curry. While other teams were reportedly interested in Horford's services, the gravitational pull of a potential championship with the Warriors appears to be the strongest force. The Celtics, Horford's former team, would have undoubtedly loved to retain him as they continued their pursuit of championships. However, the landscape in Boston shifted dramatically with the devastating news that Jason Tatum is expected to miss all of next season due to an Achilles injury. This seismic event changed the entire equation for the Celtics, and their president, Brad Stevens, candidly admitted that retaining Horford likely wasn't in Boston's future plans given the circumstances. Considering Horford turned 39 this summer, it simply didn't make much sense for the veteran to remain on a depleted Boston squad next season, facing a rebuilding year. His prime focus, understandably, is on competing for a title. If and when Horford makes his decision, he will become the fourth key rotation player to depart from Boston this summer, following the trades of Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis, and the loss of Luke Kornet to the Spurs in free agency. Despite his age, Horford demonstrated throughout the playoffs that he can still be a significant contributor. While he can't play as many minutes as in the past, his effectiveness, his defensive prowess, his passing, and his veteran leadership were still largely intact. The allure of joining a Warriors team with multiple future Hall of Famers like Stephen Curry and the potential addition of another veteran like Jimmy Butler, all pushing for perhaps one last deep playoff run, is an incredibly appealing situation for a player like Horford. He sees an immediate path to contention, a chance to add another ring to his illustrious career. The stakes in this protracted negotiation are incredibly high for both the Kings and the Warriors. For Sacramento, the question looms large. How much do they truly want Jonathan Kuminga? Are they prepared to go all in on him? To sacrifice that precious, unprotected first-round pick that represents a significant portion of their future flexibility? Kuminga could be a cornerstone piece for their evolving roster, a dynamic talent who could elevate their ceiling. But at what cost? For the Warriors, the clock is ticking on their championship window. With aging superstars, every offseason move carries immense weight. The Kuminga situation has tied their hands, preventing them from aggressively pursuing other targets who could immediately bolster their roster. If they miss out on a player like Al Horford or other veterans who could provide crucial depth and experience, simply because they couldn't resolve the Kuminga stalemate, it could have significant repercussions for their immediate title aspirations. The Warriors need to decide if Kuminga's value and their desired return for him is worth the potential paralysis of their entire offseason. This intricate dance between the Golden State Warriors and the Sacramento Kings, centered around Jonathan Kuminga and a single draft pick, has become the unexpected focal point of the NBA offseason. It's a stark reminder of the delicate, high-stakes nature of professional sports negotiations, where one unresolved thread can unravel an entire team's meticulously laid plans. The fate of a promising young player, the championship aspirations of a veteran big man, and the strategic maneuvering of two rival franchises are all intertwined in this captivating, frustrating drama. The basketball world watches, holding its breath, as these two California powerhouses navigate a summer defined by a single, stubborn stalemate. What's your take on this high-stakes standoff, faithful? Do the Kings need to go all in for Kuminga, or are the Warriors asking for too much for their young talent? Is Al Horford the missing piece for Golden State? And how long can they truly afford to wait for this Kuminga situation to resolve itself? Drop your thoughts, your predictions, and even your wildest trade scenarios in the comments below. Let's get this conversation going. And if you felt the tension, the frustration, or the sheer anticipation of this unfolding drama, smash that like button and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss a single beat as this NBA offseason continues to deliver its unique brand of suspense.